Well, hello everyone. I'm Jill Bloom. I'm publisher of Roofing Contractor, Walls and Ceilings, and Building Enclosure. Welcome to our weekly legal insights with Trent Cotney, the CEO of Cotney Construction Law. Trent, it's always great to talk with you. And I'm also here with my editor, Art Eisner of Roofing Contractor. So Trent, it's been a little bit since we've talked, but I mean, I don't even know. It seems like it's crazy how things are changing every day. Can you give us some insight on what's been happening on what the biggest thing that you're getting phone calls on, or on the election results? What should we start with?
Sure. So Jill, Art, it's great seeing you guys again. I tell you, I missed you, but I have really enjoyed Best of Success. Reed, the one where I just saw, fantastic. I tell you, every time Reed Ribble speaks, I want to, charge up that hill right behind him. It's hard not to get inspired when that man speaks. So all of them been really great. So you guys have done kudos to you guys. Great job. It's been fantastic. I would tell you, the calls that I've been getting recently, and it's caused me some concern, is the COVID-19 shutdowns. I feel like it's March and April all over again. A lot of contractors are starting to have, job sites being shut down, significant delays. And this is not the time when the industry really needs this. The industry's been very strong through most of COVID-19, but the economy, I've been beating a dead horse, just talking about it over and over and over again through our meetings, but it's coming, and this is not a good time for production to be down at all for any contractors, especially for those contractors that are in the Northeast, Chicago, areas that are closed pretty much during winter. Most of Chicago construction shuts down during the wintertime. It's too cold to really work, and you got snow and everything else. Same in some sectors in the Northeast. And this is a time where you need to be firing on all cylinders. So, from my concern, my standpoint is a lot of people, a lot of owners, commercial and residential, learned through March and April. And a lot of the great contract provisions that we developed to account for that, they have clued into that as well. So in a lot of the negotiations that we've been experiencing, we've been getting pushback from a lot of our, acts of God, force majeure type clauses, people taking into account pandemics and fighting tooth and nail over this kind of stuff. So for those contractors that didn't have their contracts reviewed or didn't have the opportunity to negotiate it, they may have very unfavorable provisions that govern delay and suspensions. So my advice is that, check your contract if your job site is suspended. Secure your job site. Make sure you winterize it if you're in an area that gets a lot of freezing rain or snow, and submit those claims if you can, because it's now is unfortunately not the time to have job sites suspended.
Trent, do you expect some of those fights to get even stronger as time goes on? Will there be more pushback from GCs and other building owners on projects?
Yeah, as you know, we're data driven, so we track this stuff all over the place. It helps us do a better job. So our delay claims continue to uptick. Okay, right now we're pushing 28% of all of our litigation involves some kind of delay claim, whether it's an affirmative claim that we're fighting for or a defense the other way. That's a significant increase, and that has ticked up every single month for the last 3 months. So I would anticipate that you're going to see more and more of this. It causes me significant concern because everyone is kicking the can, right? And that's the big issue that we're seeing. And I don't want contractors to be in a position where they're owed a bunch of money right when the money dries up, because it's getting ready to dry up. That's the problem. Is that bubble is about to burst. It's I keep saying that every month, and they're like, Trent, you're just a pessimist. Yeah, I am. It's my job. But at the end of the day, you can't ignore all the signs that are out there. If that bubble burst and you're in the middle of a delay or suspension, it's going to be a lot harder for that owner to justify coming back to work. That's my concern.
Got it. Well, a lot of how we react to the virus and continue to react to the virus may depend on who's in the White House. Not that we want to get too into the weeds on the presidential election, but we have seen some critical cabinet posts announced by the incoming Biden administration. Any thoughts on those so far?
Yeah, it's been very interesting. I think the Biden administration has played it smart. They have brought in a lot of fairly moderate Democrats to, take positions. We haven't seen a lot of the progressive agenda reflected in a lot of the cabinet picks that are done. They're fairly middle of the road. I mean, clearly, blue leaning, but at the end of the day, don't expect too much pushback other than one or two, maybe. We're still waiting on seeing some of the critical ones, the Department of Labor, some of the other things. But what's interesting is, his appointment of Kerry for the environmental position. It's not a cabinet position, but it just shows that I think renewable energy and environmental concerns are going to be at the forefront of the Biden administration. I would expect that it's going to take time for the dust to settle when he takes office in January. But I would say by the end of second, third quarter, you're going to start seeing a lot of, either proposed legislation or executive orders related to environmental and renewable energy type initiatives.
Well, you mentioned John Kerry. Should contractors be concerned about some of the other Obama era appointees we're seeing?
I don't know if concerned is necessarily the right way to think about it. I think, and clearly very politically charged election. I can't think of another one that was this bad, right? Regardless of what side of the fence you're on. So we're dealt with a hand of cards right now. And what I would suggest that contractors do is I always try to look for opportunity. I personally and business wise, you hand me some facts, I try to look at the upside. What can I do with these facts? Where can I go with this? So you can anticipate that with a lot of the picks that have been done so far, that you're going to see a lot of the same kind of policy making, the same agenda that we saw during the Obama administration, which means ultimately there will be more regulation for contractors through the EPA, through the IRS, through Department of Labor, through any agency that impacts construction. You're going to see more regulation. You're going to see more enforcement. That's a given, okay? That's generally not a good thing for construction, okay? What is good, though, is that there's probably going to be some money poured into infrastructure improvements. I've talked about environment, renewable energy. There's opportunities in those sectors. So I think if you're looking for it, you can kind of ride the wave and figure out which way you want to go with it. I do think it requires some, improvisation to figure out what the next step is. But that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. The picks I've seen so far give me some hope in that I don't see necessarily sort of the far left progressives being accounted for in the Biden cabinet.
Got it. Well, a lot of that may have to do with approval, potential for approval. What about any encouraging news in terms of second round of stimulus funding? Are you as optimistic there?
That's a tough one because everybody recognizes we need it. Everybody has said that, but I don't know if it's going to happen by the end of the year. I really don't. We're running out of time. And I think both Republicans and Democrats, even fiscal conservatives, have recognized that there needs to be some form of, whether it's missile guided stimulus that's razor focused, or it's, more of a broad brushstroke. You're going to need something because the bottom's about to fall out. And that's the concern, is that if you don't do something soon, you're going to have an issue. So I would say that you never know with politics, right? You never know. I think it's doubtful that you're going to see something this year, unless they really start working on it. We're basically in the countdown here right now. Don't know whether or not enough political capital can be held, especially with the transition in place with the Trump and the Biden administration, to get it done right now. But we'll see. I'll remain optimistic. So.
Okay. Since we last spoke regarding that first round of stimulus funding, the IRS came out or made some more declarations regarding the Paycheck Protection Program funded expenses. What do contractors need to know about that recent announcement?
So the IRS in its recent announcement basically just reinforced its previous position, which is as of right now, the IRS is looking at any loans that were forgiven from the Paycheck Protection Program as truly forgiven loans, meaning you can't use that money as an expense. So if you spent $750,000 in Paycheck Protection Programs on payroll, then that's basically income that you have to account for from a tax perspective. So my advice to contractors that are listening to this, call your accountant, call him or her, and make sure that you are accounting for this debt. I can tell you that I don't think it's going to change with the Biden administration. I would be shocked if it would. So I think right now what the IRS is signaling, even under the Trump administration, suggests to me that that is going to be what it is. Okay, so that could be some hefty tax bills for people that haven't necessarily accounted for it.
Okay. One thing I wanted to ask you about, we recently participated in a roundtable discussion with other roofing contractors that are focused on storm work through Storm Ventures Group. And while we did hear about the pandemic, we did hear about supply line issues. One thing we heard repeatedly about was how difficult the insurance game is getting for contractors. They're pushing for change. How critical is insurance reform for, I guess, the long-term future of roofing? And I guess a follow-up is that even really possible, given how big that of a machine that industry is?
Mm-hmm. And look, it's a very, very large sector, multi-billion-dollar sector within the roofing industry and within, vertical construction in general. Whether it's mold remediation, whether it's water remediation, whatever it might be, storm-related damage repairs, it's an astronomical part of the industry. I have heard the same thing, and I know many of those individuals that were part of that group, and it is a sign of the times. Insurance has always been difficult to deal with, right? That's nothing new. But what is new is I have never seen this level of feet dragging, and a lot of it is because they have suffered significant losses, through regardless of what the insurance mechanism is. In those storm affected areas that were hit with successive storms, they're using the excuse of occurrence as a way to say, okay, well, we don't know what storm hit. We need to do more investigation. They're kicking the can, right? And this is the same thing I see all over the place. So I think, I would like to see some reforms to the insurance industry that would allow for the fair and accurate payment of claims in a understandable and timely fashion. There needs to be certain conditions in place. You need to be able to go through the process and understand what it is. But I feel like there's some abuse of the process on the insurance end. I can tell you, we don't do a lot of insurance defense work on our end from the legal side. And the reason we don't do a tremendous amount of defending, insurance claims that contractors might have is because dealing with the insurance companies is so difficult. They intentionally make a lot of things very, very difficult on claimants on issuing payment. It has been a problem, and I have seen it skyrocket during COVID-19. So my suggestion is like everything when you are looking for change, if you request monumental change, it will never happen. Okay, it's death by 1,000 cuts. So my suggestion is that, you approach it a little bit by a little bit and recognize the insurance lobby is very large. But I do think that there's some due process elements. There's some things that could expedite things that would make it a lot easier, and I think at the same time, there's a lot of things that could be done from an insurance standpoint to clean up some of the fraud and some of the other things that they may be experiencing. So I think it can go both ways. But yes, I could not agree more. The insurance industry is a nightmare right now. It is absolutely messed up, and something needs to happen.
To put on your lobbying hat for just a moment, is that something that's more likely to be tackled at the state level than at something at a large federal level?
Yeah, I think, the state level is really where a lot of the insurance stuff happens. It is, generally that's how things get done. Is most of the regulation that I see is going to be state regulated. So the best bet, the best use of anybody's time or money would be to focus on state level efforts, which make it difficult for national, storm contractors because you don't know where the storm is going to hit or how it's going to hit. But that's generally where the best use of that money goes.
All right. Before we let you go, I did want to ask if you happen to see RC's announcement of our Contractors of the Year on both the residential and commercial side. Any thoughts?
I did, and congratulations to Letitia. I've had the opportunity to talk to her with ARS and Ronnie at Empire. It's always, having sat through many of the former Best of Success conferences, that's always something. It's got to be the biggest award of the year that a contractor can receive. It is such an honor, and I think about the past winners that have won both of those awards. And I know many of them, and how much it means to them. It's like winning the Super Bowl MVP award. That's basically what it is. So kudos to those guys, especially in this year. They should really appreciate that. And I think it's great that even though, we couldn't do the traditional in-person Best of Success, that you guys are still pushing that out there, and we're still honoring people, and we're still going through that, because it really, I can tell you from having talked to some past winners, it is probably one of the biggest things that will happen to them in their lifetime. And they will always talk about it and remember it. So congratulations to both of the winners. Huge honor and award. And I was happy to see it. I always like seeing the good stuff. We need more good news. So.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you, Trent. With that, I'll turn it back to you, Joe.
Yeah, that's great insight, Trent. It's always good to see the good stuff. And there's no doubt between Ronnie and everything he's done at Empire, and Letitia and everything she's done at ARS, it is absolutely outstanding what each one of them have accomplished and the obstacles that they've overcome. It's been a really fun process. It's been a bright light for us as well, just going through that process this year. So I want to say thank you again, Trent, for your time today. I want to say to everybody who's watching, make sure that you have a chance to see Trent on our Best of Success. He's going to be speaking on December 15th. Make sure you go to roofingcontractor.com to sign up and register for not just Trent, but also next week on the 8th, we've got Ken Kelly of Kelly Roofing. He's going to be doing a presentation. And also we are going to be announcing the RT3 Innovator of the Year Award next week on December 8th. So make sure you tune in for that as well. But again, if you have any questions, make sure you go to roofingcontractor.com, wconline.com. Or if you have questions for Trent, go to cotneycl.com. And we hope everybody is staying safe and healthy, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks again, Trent.
Thank you.